Hey, what's going on everybody? This is D here with High Off Blue Hour, and in this video we are going to be doing something that's relatively simple, and a lot of people I'm sure do this already and know about this, but for those that don't, this is a useful thing. We're going to be taking Midjourney images and turning them into PNG images with transparent backgrounds that you can then use in different composite situations, whether it's photos or videos and so on and so forth. So first, what we're going to do is we're going to go into Midjourney, and I've already got a couple kind of things that I've already prompted, just images. It's not the images themselves that's important. What's important is kind of the parameters around the images, and this is very simple. So something like this, right? Just a simple full body character concept of a gothic male protagonist in a black leather hood and wearing majestic silver adornments, clearly defined lines, and here's where it gets important: PNG style, empty white background. Those are the along with clearly defined lines, those are the two kind of important parameters of these prompts, because what you want is you want an image that can then be easily taken into Photoshop and easily recognized by the select subject software and tools within Photoshop, so that you can very easily remove the background from the image. So the more defined the lines are and the more separated the main subject is from the background within Midjourney, the easier it will be to pluck that subject out of the background in Photoshop. So let's look at these jack-o'-lanterns here. So Halloween jack-o'-lantern pumpkin, PNG style, empty white background, about these kind of two double dash lines, and then no whatever you don't want. You know, if you know about Midjourney, I think you know how that kind of works. So in this case, I use that parameter to say no shadow on the ground, because oftentimes having a shadow on the ground can make it a little bit more goofy when you're trying to select your image in Photoshop to remove it from the background. So if there isn't a shadow on the ground, it just makes it a little bit easier to just remove the image from the background. So I'll put that there. Now if you look at the images, a shadow on the ground still shows up, but it is a lot more faint and a lot kind of lighter toned than typically shadows show up on the ground in a lot of images. So sometimes I will do that, but point being, you want something that's easily separated from the background. And so we've got these pumpkins here, and what we're going to do is we're going to take some of these pumpkins, we're going to upscale these, and some of these probably a couple of these kind of shrouded gothic male, I mean, kind of looks like Assassin's Creed type characters. That's not actually the look I was going for, but that's what came up. Probably going to take a couple of these as well into Photoshop, and we are going to separate them from the background so that we can have our PNG images with transparent backgrounds. All right, so now that we have Photoshop opened up, you can pull in your Midjourney images, and I've already pulled in one of the jack-o'-lanterns or the smart object. And so what we want to do is just go up here to select, then we'll go down to subject. We're going to let Photoshop just select our image. It should be relatively easy and accurate for it to do this, since the background is just this empty plain background. All right, so we have our pumpkin selected, and it looks like the selection is pretty decent. I can see some areas where, because the pumpkin, there's some edges of the pumpkin that are very blown out with white, so that it kind of starts to blend into the background. So I'll try to clean that up some. We got our pumpkin selected. We move this down. We got our pumpkin selected, and then what we'll do is go up to select again, and then we'll go to select and mask now. And this kind of gets us into the process of removing the background. And there we have it. So the background is removed. And then we go down to here, check decontaminate colors, and then okay. And so now we have the kind of grid background showing that the background is transparent now. And then what we want to do is select that layer copy, hold shift, and select that layer 0, right click and go to merge layers, and then we'll go up here to file and export, quick export as PNG, and we can just export this to, you obviously you export to whatever folder you want to export your PNG images to. I've got a folder for my PNG images with transparent backgrounds, so I'll export it to that, and it's done now. This particular image is done, but what I want to do is I'm gonna kind of just lay it over a background so you can kind of actually see what it looks like. So if I bring in this autumn fireplace image, and then let me find the PNG image that we just made, drag it in and drop it, boom, and there we have it. So we've got our PNG image. This actually came out really good. Looks pretty good, and obviously you can kind of move it around, resize it, do whatever you want with it. How well it's going to blend into this particular image just kind of depends on, I guess, on probably not the best image to use, but because things don't match up necessarily in terms of focal lengths and all that type of stuff, but you get the idea. This is now a PNG image that you can do all kinds of different things with, different animation type things with, in DaVinci Resolve in my case, or but for whatever programs that you use. But now you have a PNG image, an original PNG image with a transparent background. So you can apply this same technique to any image of your choosing. In fact, what I'll do is let me delete this, and let's do one of the kind of Assassin's Creed looking Midjourney images. Doesn't really relate to this autumn background, but we'll leave the background there. We're gonna do the same thing here, where we go up and we're gonna go select. Wait a minute, let me make sure our layer is selected, and then go up to select. We'll go down to subject. Might be a little bit of a harder time selecting this one just because of the shadow around the feet and things like that, and there is some kind of a lot of white light around the arms, and it actually did it pretty well. Didn't grab any of the shadows around the feet at all, so this actually was a good selection. So we'll go up to select and mask, and so we're just repeating the same process that we did with the jack-o'-lantern. And so there we go, we got our background removed. Let's complete the task by clicking decontaminate colors and then clicking OK, and then once again click our protagonist 1 copy layer, hold shift and click the original protagonist 1 layer, right click and merge layers. Now that's what I do. I don't know other folks when they dabble around in Photoshop. I don't know whether they leave those layers unmerged or not. That's up to them, I guess, but I always, once I remove backgrounds, I tend to merge my original layer and the copy layer, if that makes sense, so that I just have one single transparent image to work with within that particular project. But anyway, so here we go, we got our gothic type protagonist here. Background is removed clearly, so now this image is ready to just be placed in all types of programs. And if you want to do some sort of, again, keyframe animation type things, just a little kind of goofy animations if you want, and picture photo compositions and whatnot. This obviously isn't the background you would use with this particular character, but you get the idea. This is now a PNG image with a transparent background. So that is the video, you guys. Just a very simple video, and probably a very simple concept to a lot of people that are already doing this type of stuff. But if you maybe you happen to be new to Midjourney, new to Photoshop, or both, and this can give you some ideas on how you can get graphics and images that you can use in your different content creations and things like that, particularly original PNG type images and things like that. Those jack-o'-lantern images that we got were pretty high quality, in my opinion. Those looked really good, like they were just ready made and ready to go, in terms of they can be placed on top of a background or within a composition and not need too much tweaking, if any at all. So just some thoughts for you guys. So that is the video, taking Midjourney images and turning them into PNG images with transparent backgrounds. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one.